Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel. I'm a registered nurse in Miami, Florida. Been a nurse for about 3 years now. And I woke up this morning, felt like being a big sister, and I was like, what are some stuff I wish I knew before I became a nurse? I've done kind of like these videos before on TikTok, but I've never done like a long format YouTube video. So I wanted to share some of my insights, some things that I have learned in my experience, some things that I feel would have helped me before I became a nurse, just guided me through my way, and I don't know, maybe just some relatable content, things that I would like to look forward to. I remember before it was my first day on the job, I was on YouTube looking up videos, looking for girls that were similar to me and how their experience went and what are things that they knew before their first day of work. So these are just some things from my experience that I thought I would share. Hope it's helpful, hope it's insightful, hope it helps you in any way. This is to inspire, this is to motivate. Some of it is positive, some of it is just me being real. And in the true fashion of being trendy, and because I just can't make a video and just talk to myself because I'll go crazy. So I'm doing my makeup. It's gonna be a get ready with me. It's gonna be like we're on FaceTime. It's not awkward, it's not weird. It's me on FaceTime with my bestie, you, giving you advice on things I want you to know before you start working as a nurse, okay? All right, let's get started. Number one is that nursing school does not prepare you how to be a nurse. Just prepares you how to pass the NCLEX. So you can ask a lot of other people. This is a very popular and common opinion. A lot of nurses will say that in school it just teaches you how to answer test questions and you don't really learn much. Even in your clinical experience, usually nurses can be hesitant, for good reason, to like let you take over during your clinical, because if you make a mistake, you're kind of like working under their license and it's a liability. Which brings me to number two. Everything that you learn will be on the job. Once you have your nursing license and you have your degree and you start working, that's when you're gonna learn how to do things. You're gonna put the IV, you're gonna push those meds, and you're gonna be on your own. That's how you learn. I also feel like sometimes you need to make mistakes in order to learn and in order to grow. Number three, this one is one of my favorites because it's the most valid. So whoever you're working with that day or that night, whether you work day shift or night shift, determines how your shift is gonna go. You can have the most chill assignment, but if one little thing goes wrong, or I don't want to be mean, but if you're not working with a very good nurse and they always have chaotic nights, you're going to end up like running in and helping them, depending on the kind of person that you are. That's the kind of person I am. If you see somebody like struggling and freaking out, I run to help them. So sometimes you're working with certain people and you're like, oh, and you see they have like a bad, patient, you're like, oh, it's gonna be a long night. And then vice versa. Like for me, sometimes I'll have like the worst patients, right? And by worst patients, I just mean, people are in the hospital, they're sick, they're vulnerable. Sometimes they're not in a good mood and they could just be very needy, and that's okay. We've all been there, but you might not be able to help them because you're so busy, because you have so many patients that are so needy. But if you have good coworkers and you have a good nursing assistant and you have a good staff, no matter how crazy that patient gets, you're gonna have a good night because you have a good team. So teamwork literally makes the dream work. I don't care how corny that sounds, it is a fact. You can ask anybody. Number four, this kind of like adds on to that. So the people that are like very confident and don't ask for help because they think they know it all, and they're just like, I know what I'm doing, like I don't need help, like no thanks, no. Like those are the people that always end up making the mistake. Asking for help goes a long way, and also like helping people. Number five, so nobody knows it all. We all started from zero. Sometimes it could be hard to remember that for some nurses. Me personally, maybe because I'm a little more like new in the game, I'll never forget like starting from zero and being a freshly graduated nurse and just like not knowing how to do anything and just like running around and like being so scared to do anything. And you're kind of scared to even ask for help because you don't want to like look dumb. But remember that you're not going to look stupid when you ask for help, because once upon a time that 25-year-old nurse, like 25 years of experience, is going to remember like when she was in your shoes, and she's gonna not have a problem helping you. Like no question to me is a dumb question. Keep that energy throughout your career. When you're the one that's the experienced nurse, remember that and keep that energy. I'm so against like workplace bullying and like nurses eat their young. Like I think that is so lame. If you are a nurse that likes to eat their young, like you're a loser. You suck. Like that is so mean. I don't know what you're going through in your life, but bullying is not cool and it's not okay, and I don't condone it in any aspect of my life. If I see a hateful comment, you're blocked. I don't care. Everybody has the right to an opinion, and I have the right to block you. And I keep that in real life. Don't let anybody bully you. Keep that energy. But also number 7, don't take everything so seriously. You know, sometimes at work, you might hear, you know, some shady things. You know, patients can be a little mean, people can be a little mean, but sometimes you need to just learn to laugh it off. You know, if a patient is disoriented, not in the right state of mind, and they call you like dumb, for example, you know, remember that when people are in the hospital, they're not in their right state. It's kind of like being intoxicated. Like if you're on a lot of medication, you're intoxicated. So you might say things you don't mean, or if you're really sick and you're in a lot of pain, I feel like you're also intoxicated. You might say things you don't mean. So learn to laugh things off and don't take things too seriously. Number 8. So sometimes when you're working, you know, you're gonna experience other nurses or other staff or doctors that probably don't like their job or aren't happy or they're having a bad day. When I was a new grad, I was always so excited about being a nurse. I was always making like my little TikTok videos. I would make like my little work videos, my YouTube videos, like you guys see on my channel. Like I was so excited about being a nurse. And there's a lot of people that I worked with that hated being a nurse and they hated their job and they were so, I don't want to say miserable, but they were miserable. And that can kind of make you feel like weird. Like you're at work and you're so excited, you have your meal, food, whatever, and they'll kind of like look at you and they'll be like, oh, that's so cute. Like I remember when I was like that. Don't let those people dull your sparkle. Like if you're excited about your job and you're happy with your career choice and you want to meal prep and you want to do your makeup for work and you want to get ready and you want to be happy, you want to be excited, like be excited. Like don't let people that are around you that are not happy, you know, like kind of like dim you out. Somehow, some way, I don't know, I've always been very positive and I never let those people bring me down or make me feel like my job sucked. Like I was like, I'm sorry you're miserable, but I genuinely love my job and I love my career. And I'm gonna keep making my little day in the life of nurse vlog because period, I like it. And I'm 3 years in and I'm not miserable and I do love what I do. So number 9. So this one I definitely learned and picked up on because I was working with COVID patients and they were in isolation and they weren't allowed to have visitors. But even if COVID is over, there are patients that have particular special situations and they don't have visitors or nobody comes to see them. And there's going to be times it is really sad. It does break my heart, but you're going to be the only person that your patient interacts with that day. You know, like you're the only source of joy or misery that they might have that day. So why not be the best part of their day? Why not, you know, like be nice, be sweet, take the time to talk to them, take the time to get to know them, be patient with them. Sometimes I remember I had this lady one time, she had like a really bad attitude and it was because she like had just gotten trach, she had difficulty communicating. Remember I worked in a respiratory floor, so I dealt with trachs a lot and like people that were unable to communicate that can't use their words, you know, like this patient, I got her like a little like picture board and she kind of pointed to like the signs that she needed and I made it like fun and like I gave it to her and she was like pointing at stuff and she was like very sad, very upset, like in a bad mood that she had to do that. And then when she finished using it, I was like, you forgot something? And she's like, looks at me like, what? And I'm like, I teach her like the sign that says thank you and like I said it like in a funny way. I'm like, and this one? The most important button? And she like laughed and like it made her smile and it made her happy and it made her day. And it's like the little things that, you know, like joke around, kind of like be cute with your patient, like treat them like as if you would treat like your grandma or your family member in the hospital. And I know a lot of people say that, but you need to just act on it, you know, because then when your grandma's in the hospital or your mom or your dad or your brother or sister, karma is real and it comes back to you. Number 10, this one I really like. So you as a nurse now in 2023, you do not need to start off in med-surg. Maybe you did before, maybe that was back in the day, maybe there are some nurses that are old and angry about this and just don't believe in it. Personally, this is something that I've never believed in. You don't need to start off in med-surg. No matter what, when you get hired for a hospital, a good hospital, if you're a new grad, you apply for a residency program, okay? You apply for a residency program. If there's a specialty, you pick it. They will train you to be the best ICU nurse, the best step-down nurse, the best ED nurse. They'll train you for that. And your mind is fresh when you get out of school. So if anything, I feel like it's kind of backwards. Like I feel like med-surg, like you get out of school, you do med-surg, and then you want to switch to specialty. And since you're used to that routine, it's hard for you to get into that specialty. So I don't know why people say that. Like since I've done all the specialties, now I could genuinely say that you do not need to start off in med-surg to be a good nurse, because I didn't start off in med-surg and I still got floated to med-surg and did it. And I still did ICU and I still did step down and I still did cath lab and I'm still a good nurse. So this one is so funny, but things obviously don't get done textbook style. And I remember when I became a nurse and I was getting trained by like my preceptor and the patient had a peg tube. You know, NCLEX textbook style says you do 1 pill per push. Like, you don't mix medications. But the reality is, and this is not even like to save time, because you do need time. You need to be a good time manager. There's just no way that you could, if you do med by med and the patient has 20 meds, like how long are you gonna be there? I've definitely burnt myself out. And let me tell you how to not burn yourself out. You need to take care of yourself. No overtime is worth it. When I became a nurse, it was COVID time. So overtime was like crazy bonuses, crazy money, crazy incentives, and everything was closed. So like realistically, it was more fun for me to pick up overtime than stay home and do nothing. So I just kind of burnt myself out by overdoing it and like not taking care of myself, like not prioritizing me, not listening to my mental health, like not relaxing, not taking a day of rest, like just like another shift, like, oh, but if I work one more day, then I get an extra $1,000. Like, you need to listen to your body. And if you're tired and you don't want to do anything, you don't want to do anything. Sometimes I have days where it's my only day off and I'm like, oh my God, the laundry pile is up to here and I need to do this and I need to do that. Sometimes you need to just stay in bed all day and do nothing. Do nothing. Like watch Netflix shows all day, like read a book, like do absolutely nothing. Do not meal prep, order food, order Uber Eats, chill. And that is how you prevent burnout. Take a day to just do nothing and just relax. Like your body will thank you. Chill. Scroll on TikTok for hours. Do what you need to do, but take care of yourself, please. Next, so unfortunately, for those of you little smarty pants that just kind of rely on your brains all the time, good for you, happy that you're so smart. Nobody cares how smart you are. Your coworkers don't care how smart you are. They don't care they got a 4.0, they don't care you graduated top of your class. They don't care. If you're nice, I'll help you and I'll be a good coworker to you, but if you're mean, like, nobody wants to help you. Your coworkers are not gonna like you because you were top of your class. They're gonna like you because you were kind to them, because you were sweet to them, because you took the time to get to know them. I think that's really important. Your career doesn't end when you leave the hospital. And by that, I mean that sometimes you're gonna take certain things home with you. You're gonna have bad experiences. You're gonna have people pass on you. You're gonna have really bad days. And yes, you clock out. You might not be back for another week. But that doesn't mean that sometimes you don't take those things home with you, like those people's burdens home with you. This one's not super positive, but that's why I said it's important to prioritize yourself and take care of yourself. And sometimes listen to your mind and your body. And even if it's your only day off, rest. Which is crazy because people are like, I love nursing because you don't take your work home with me. Yeah, they're not calling you when you're home and asking you to do a PowerPoint for them, but you're thinking about like, oh my God, I wonder if he's okay. Like, oh my God, my patient was so borderline. Like, are they gonna make it through the night? There are so many times where like, I'm in bed and I'm like thinking about that patient. I'm like, oh, I hope they're okay. Like, I wonder if they're gonna be there tomorrow. And I'm like so tempted to text my friend like, hey, like, how is the patient in 13? Like, are they okay? Like, cause you're still thinking about them and you know you're coming back the next day, but like, you need to try to not take it home with you, but you're definitely gonna feel it. You know, it's gonna happen. So the next one, it's okay not to know everything. Even if you've been a nurse for many years, there are things you're not gonna know and that's okay. Don't feel dumb, don't feel incompetent, don't feel like you're not a good nurse because you don't know these things. You learn them and it's no big deal and it's okay if you forget things. I'm already getting towards the end of my list, but 21 is hospitals are not always gonna stick up for you. They're not. They think about themselves and they prioritize themselves. So you need to learn, baby girl, how to stick up for yourself. And if you don't have a backbone, you better find one. Because here's the thing, you're not standing up for yourself when you are uncomfortable about your assignment. You're standing up for your patients. So if I have 8 patients and I don't feel safe and I know I'm not gonna be a good nurse, I'm not looking out for myself, I'm not being a brat. I'm advocating for my patients. Because how am I gonna take care of them if I don't have the time? I don't have the time to read their chart. I don't have time to be a good nurse. I don't have time to go over all their orders. I don't have time to sit and talk to them and see what their concerns are and ask them if they have any pain and ask them how their day is going and ask them if there's any changes I can make and see if I could wean them off the oxygen. If I have 8 patients, there is just no way. So you need to stick up for yourself. And if you're uncomfortable with your assignment, you better say something. I definitely have. And I have so many stories about that, but that's a whole nother video. Number 22. So if you work in the hospital, you probably will only work 3 days a week. Does that mean that the other 4 days of the week, you're gonna be popping off, gonna go to Mexico, come back, pop bottles, go to the club, go to the bar, do laundry? Probably not, okay? This job is very grueling, very time consuming, very heavy, like it's very dense. You work those 12 hours and it definitely hits you. So sometimes, most of the time for me, you work 3 days, but it's kind of like you work 4 because it takes you like a whole day to recover. It's like a hangover. You're just so tired, like your back hurts, your feet hurt, and everything. And so those 3 days don't feel like 3. They feel like 4 or 5, depending on who you ask. You're not gonna get all these things done you think you're gonna get done. I'm just saying. Not something that I wish I knew before, because I would definitely overcommit. And I'd be like, oh, I get out a night shift at 8 a.m. I'm gonna nap until like 1 and then I'm going to brunch. Girl, like it's really not the vibes. A lot of day shift nurses, I worked night shift most of my life, so when I would get a report from them, they'd be like, oh, I didn't even have lunch today. I didn't even sit down. I haven't peed. Like, it was crazy. Like, I had a family member. I had this, I had that, I had orders, I had rounds, da-da-da-da-da, all these crazy things. But guess what? You work day shift. You have a normal life. You have the best schedule. You have all the downtime in your personal life, just no downtime at work, which kind of for me is like the better end of the stick. You're gonna be stressed at work, but you're not gonna be stressed when you gotta work. If you work holidays, for example, like let's say you work Noche Buena, me that I'm Hispanic, you can work a whole shift and then at night still go out and make it to your family party. On the opposite end, if you were to work night shift, you wouldn't be able to go to Noche Buena. New Year's Eve night, you wouldn't be able to go. But New Year's Eve, if you work day shift, would be lit, because like you go to work, you do your thing, and then you still get to go out at night and party. So it just really depends who you ask. And then on your days off, you get so much done because you're used to waking up early. Night shift, on the other hand, and I can say this because I work night shift, so I don't want anybody to be like, that's a lie, nights are crazy. I work night shift and I work day shift. A night shift is super freaking chill. Rarely do you have a bad day. Like, it's very chill. There's no rounds, there's no family members, there's no visiting hours, okay? Like, patients are asleep, they're knocked out. You don't have to do, if you do blood sugars, like usually you just do the blood sugar right before the patient goes to bed. You cover them if they're a diabetic, and then they go to bed. If you're in the days and the patient is like ACHS, like you literally have to take the blood sugar right before every meal, and they have 3 meals. Check their sugar, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then night shift gets there, they already had dinner. Like, we don't have to do that. And like, you're not running around. Like, it's just so much easier. Like, oh my God, I love night shift. The only thing that sucks, I would fall asleep at dinner, at brunch. One time, oh my God, one time, I was supposed to go on a date, and I didn't wake up for the date. Like, I had a date and I woke up at 11 p.m. and I like literally stood this guy up, and it was an accident. It was because I literally was working night shift and my schedule was so messed up. Like, it was a total accident and I felt so bad about it. Oh my God. Like, I've slept through so many like important events. It's so embarrassing because I was working night shift. So it's just pick your poison. 24, work will always humble you, girl. Always humble you. Like, I'm telling you, you may be feeling really confident today, you feel really good. You may be 3 years in the game and you're like, I'm gonna have the best shift because I know what I'm doing and I've done this procedure 5,000 times. Like, when I worked in the Cath lab, we do the same procedure every time. And I would come ready. I'm like, I'm so confident, I'm feeling good, whatever. Be always prepared to be humbled, because every patient is different, every experience is different, and every day is different. So you're gonna be humbled a lot, but it's a good thing, okay? It's a good thing. You'll have funny stories to tell. You can make a lot of get ready with me videos about all the crazy experiences you've had, you know, not using patient information, not violating HIPAA, but it's always gonna humble you. And I just need you to know that before you become a nurse. Don't say that I didn't tell you. Last one, number 25, you are gonna determine how much money you make after you get experience. After you get your experience, you could become a travel nurse. You could go to another specialty. You are the one that sets the bar. You are the one that goes and it's like, I've been working here for 2 years, 3 years, whatever. I want to raise. This is how much money I want. I deserve $40-something an hour. If you guys are going to give it to me, I'm going to go elsewhere. So one thing that's like my favorite thing that I love about nursing is you're always going to have a job. You're always going to have money, and you always determine how much money you make. If you're not happy with how much that hospital is paying with you, get a local travel contract. You don't need to put up with it. You don't need to tolerate it. And for me, that's just the best. But after you get experience, do need to struggle a little in the beginning, get your experience, and then you could go. These are the things that, 25 things I wish I knew before I became a nurse. Genuinely, I wanted to know these things before, and I don't know, nobody really told me them. Kind of had to learn them on my own, so you're welcome for giving you this insight for the free. You could at least like and subscribe to my channel. If you enjoyed watching this video, leave a comment down below. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, follow me on all the other platforms to stay up to date. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you the best on your nursing journey or any journey that you're on, and I hope you are the best version of yourself always. Bye.